Oh, they actually take out that robo facility, and that Colossus did not get canceled in time, so that's a lot of minerals gone to waste there from Jicabou. Very nice play, taking out that Colossus and the robo facility. So not going to be able to get Immortals to deal with Marauders, not going to be able to get Colossus to deal with Marines for a while. And now Jicabou building another robotics facility closer to that Nexus, going to be able to defend it much more easily. Looks like Jicabou is going to go for a little bit of a counter push here, but this is a very, very strong army from the Canadian here. And now we have siege tanks coming into play. Siege tech already finished. Engineering bay coming down. Really hope that we get to see some upgrades from Canadian this game. And I think the siege tank's going to be just fine holding off this kind of an attack. Jicabou must be feeling fairly safe right now, sitting at 1,000 minerals. I really hope he's expanding real quick, because this is an entire army right here. And Canadians pushing out very quickly. So both players, a lot of back and forth going on here. This observer going to come into play very quickly. Going to be very important for scouting out where that army is. And now we have another Colossus being produced, being chrono boosted in. And we have, looks like another attack going to come right here in the middle. Canadian just barely pulling this siege ahead. I think he wants to be able to get it into place. Yeah, sieging down. And clairvoyantly, Jicabou just pulls back just a little tiny bit. It looks like both players do have that Xel'Naga Watchtower, so they can both see this force in the middle. And he's going to move down just a little bit, and he's just going to pull out of that just fine. Those shields will recharge. And so Jicabou finally getting that natural expansion. Meanwhile, Canadian continuing to try and get this army up, but he is completely supply blocked at his base right now. And Canadian going to move in again from this flank here where those rocks were, but now there is a Colossus on the field, so these Marines going to go down very quickly. Oh, but he does lose that Colossus to those fast Marauders. I think Jicabou will probably be able to hold on to this. Wow, if Canadian can keep this micro up and just kite these Zealots around, he might be okay. Ooh, very close game there. Gotta warp in some more units. Is he going to be able to take out this Robo Bay? It looks like he's going to try and snipe it. Oh, that tech does get canceled, but he does get that Robo Bay destroyed. So once again, that is going to be the last Colossus for Jicabou for a while there. He's going to have to get some Immortals. He really needs some more Warp Gates up. And he also really needs to get these transfers. There they go. Drones finally getting transferred over to the natural. Jicabou barely holding that off. But Canadian was supply blocked that entire time, and he still does not have his natural expansion up. Almost enough for 2 mules to be dropped right now. He's getting very low on minerals at his main, as is Jicabou, but on the other hand, Jicabou does have a natural up. He is getting that Twilight Council, and I think he's going to be alright if there's another attack. Here's another attack coming in just as I was saying that. And Jicabou does not have control over this Xel'Naga Watchtower anymore, so he will be a little bit late in scouting this. Will he be able to warp in units? He's got 800 minerals, so he should be able to warp in some Zealots and Stalkers very easily. I don't think he's going to have that charge research done for those speed lots in time. Canadian does see this very small force from Jicabou. Very small force of his own, though. Looks like he's actually going to go for that natural expansion. Very good idea there from Canadian, but Jicabou's going to be able to move into place. And that charge for the speed Zealots has started, but it's not going to be in play for this little skirmish. He really needs to pull this Colossus back, but it gets taken out very quickly by this big Marauder tank army. And those Marauders, once again, trying to kite those Zealots with force field, making it very difficult. And you cannot kite that many Zealots with just 2 Marauders. Looks like Jicabou is going to clean that army up. Thank God, not supply cap this time, and we do have a second command center coming down. Looks like Jicabou's making one more push, and Canadian's going to be forced to pull back. Has a siege tank on this rocks, though, so if there's any kind of counter flank trying to happen from Jicabou here, Canadian should be fine. But Jicabou is pulling back. Again, players going very defensively, and we have 2 more gateways being added on, an Immortal being thrown into the mix here. Pylons going down all over. Another Dark Shrine way up here. It's actually at his main, so Canadian could potentially scout this and see that Dark Shrine. Should be fairly easy to get a Raven out or even save up for a scan. And we do have this command center flying over to the natural now. And Canadian just trying his best to defend with what little he has. Meanwhile, Jicabou just trying to macro back up that army and keeps losing it to these very, very powerful marauder rushes. Strong pushes by both players here. He does have that plus weapons upgrade for his infantry, and we do not have a forge yet for Jicabou. Double forge going down after his natural is fully saturated. Common stuff to see. It's very nice to usually get that forge early and try and get that weapons upgrade as quickly as possible. But Jicabou gonna stay with this very, very strong army here of warp gate units and getting these forge researches done, chrono boosting them up. Got the speed research done at the Twilight Council and Dark Shrine, so a very strong army here for Jicabou. And now Medevac's finally coming in to support these marauders. It seems like as long as Canadian sticks with marauders and gets all these siege tanks in the right position, he should be alright. Really needs to get another research going on that engineering bay just so that he can have these armored marauders against these Dark Templars and Zealots. And we do have Dark Templars finally marching across the map and observers all over the place for Jicabou. 2 more Dark Templars coming in, and he's going to scan this and see a very large Zealot Stalker army. So he's probably going to want to get maybe some more siege tanks, maybe a few more Marines to just soak damage. But he definitely has to make something happen here. Medevac's coming in again. 4 Medevacs. We may see another Medevac drop actually coming in. And 5 Dark Templar just waiting in the middle of the map there to do something. And looks like these forges are just about to finish research. Meanwhile, Canadian is finally getting that second expansion saturated. No gas at the natural yet, but we do have some more turrets going down. Almost clairvoyance going on here with these turrets being placed where they are, being able to see Dark Templars before they get too close to the base. So we do have 5 Dark Templars here and a very, very large Zealot army from Jicabou. Looks like he's going to try and make some kind of push here. And again, observers flying back and forth all over the place. And Jicabou is mined out at his natural, so he's really going to want to take a third if he's going to keep this defensive macro play up. And very quickly, Canadian has come back into this game with a very, very large Marauder force. He did not get that turret up, though. He actually canceled it for whatever reason. But 4 tanks